Perfect, thank you. Hi everyone, my name's, okay, the formal thing. Hello, oh, wait, I'm being told to wait with fingers. It is go time, perfect. Hello and welcome to the second fall session of the Student Government Association Senate. My name is Nicholas Goymerak and I am Chief Justice of SGA's Judicial Board. I will be chairing Senate meetings while the Executive Vice Presidency is vacant. Joel, do we have a quorum?
Hello, everyone. Currently, we have a total of 14 senators, which is quorum. So we may continue on with the night.
Cool. Some reminders as we start tonight, especially given how much business we have, please keep your remarks short. When asking a question or participating in discussion, please keep your remarks to under 1 minute. Senators during question period actually ask questions. All comments must be respectful and courteous. Stay on topic. We have a lot to do. No one wants to be here past 11. Use Robert Rules of Order to determine when and what motions are appropriate. As a reminder, this meeting is live streamed via YouTube. If you are uncomfortable with your audio or video being shared, please keep your microphone muted and camera off as appropriate. At the request of senators, once a voting form has been opened, it will remain open until the start of the open floor. At that point, the voting forms will be closed and results tabulated with the results released at the end of open floor. We have a very full set schedule. The Senate will be voting on approving the returning Finance Board advisors, a senatorial seat for Vanderbilt College of Music, candidates for the current vacancies in Senate, and some open letters that the Executive Board has written that we appreciate Senate joining and signing. We will then have executive reports, open floor, the adjournment of results, the administrating of oaths of office, a tasty announcement, and adjournment. There's a typo, it's okay. Our first order of business is the slate of returning Finance Board advisors. These candidates have had their interviews waived as they are returning advisors in good standing. Chloe, as Finance Board Chair, would you like to say anything on behalf of this slate?
Yeah, sure. So these are our most recent members. They've been on the board for about a year throughout COVID. They're great at some longer than that. They're great advisors. I would like to see them continue with Finance Board. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Chloe. We will now begin the standard 5-minute questioning period. You can press the raise hand button, raise your hand on the camera, say something in chat, or none of the above. Once, twice. Okay. Do we have a motion to call the previous question?
I move to approve the slate as it stands.
Do we have a second? Okay, we have a second. The previous question has been called. Joel, please release the voting form. Ben, if you could let the advisors back in. Our next order of business is, slide change, we're waiting, it's okay.
You skipped a step. We need to discuss the advisor still.
Oh, we have to talk about them. I'm great at this, don't worry.
So let me move the advisors to.
We will now begin the standard 5-minute discussion period.
Let me move the advisors to the waiting room first, and then we can move to.
Oops, everyone's upset. Everyone's cringing. It's okay.
Sorry, I am slow at moving people to the waiting room.
Okay, my bad, everyone. Thank you. Is everyone in the advisor, are all the advisors in the waiting room? No, we're still waiting. This takes time. Okay, we're good. Perfect. I see a hand up. Juan?
Yeah, I should be moved to the room, waiting room.
Okay. Any senators have any questions or discussion comments? Derek?
Yeah, overall, I'd say the slate has done pretty well over the last year, serving in their current positions. One hope that I would like to see from this upcoming finance board is that they meet a little bit more regularly. I feel like the switch that they made to meeting on a monthly basis is not one for the better. I think now that students are back on campus and in person, the change that was made a couple of years ago to have finance board hearings taking place every 2 weeks made a lot more sense. It made hearings a little bit shorter, and it made funding events a little bit easier. So maybe that's feedback that we could pass along to the finance board in hopes that they continue to meet on a more frequent basis. But that's it. I think they're all good in their positions.
Okay, any more questions? Raise your hand with the raise hand feature. Raise your hand on camera. Say something in chat. Once, twice, 3 times. Okay, we're actually going to have a motion to call the previous question. Does anyone move? Okay, Isaiah, thank you so much. Do we have a second? We have a second from Derek. Perfect. The previous question has been called. Joel, please release the voting form for real this time. Ben, if you could let the advisors back in. Amazing. Thank you so much. Our next order of business is the consideration of a senator from the Vandercook College of Music. This is a separate position from the rest of Senate vacancies. Brian, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Awesome. Hi, I'm Brian. I'm a second-year student at Vandercook right now. I'm a music education major, and a little about me, I am the treasurer of the National Association for Music Education here at Vandercook. I'm also involved in a number of the other organizations, National Band Association, American String Teachers, American Choral Directors, and then I'm also a part of the all-male fraternity, Phi Mu Alpha on campus. And that's the gist of me.
Thank you, Brian. I just want to address a point of information before we move on. Fran, at the beginning of the meeting, I announced that results would be announced at the end of open floor. We will now move on to the standard 5-minute questioning period. People can raise their hands with the raise hand feature, raise your hand on camera, say something in chat. Derek.
Hi, Brian. Really excited that you're showing interest in SGA and making a difference on campus. Just kind of curious to see what are some of your goals being an SGA senator? What do you hope to accomplish in your term?
The question I was asked all to prepare for this. That's funny. So I was kind of more trying to more connect Vandercook with IIT, because we know a lot of people don't know we exist, and a lot of people actually don't realize that we're on IIT's campus and a part of you guys. So just kind of more bridging that gap. I'm also now a part of our student senate at Vandercook, so to get more communication flowing between the two. And that's my main goal.
Everyone's so talkative tonight. Okay, do we have a motion to move to discussion?
I move to approve Brian as the Vandercook senator.
You mean to discussion?
I
Or
move
you-
to approve him.
Okay.
That
we're
means
gonna
we
skip
go
over
into discussion.
That's fun.
Well, no, we don't. We're not skipping over discussion. We move
My
into
script
discussion.
says discussion. Ben,
Yeah, no, it's Derek is making the formal motion. I can remember this afternoon what it's called. They mean the same thing.
okay, second, we have second. Ben, please put Brian into the waiting room. It's much easier when you're a judge and you just have a gavel and you go bang, bang. Brian is gone. Okay, we will now begin the standard 5-minute discussion period. Sandy's laughing at me. Thank you, Sandy. Bang, bang. Yes, it's easy. You just go bang, bang. I think this. Okay, if there are no discussion comments, do we have a move to call the previous question? Okay, we have a move from Benjamin. Do we have a second? And Samir second. Okay. The previous question has been called. Joel, please release the voting form. Ben, could you let Brian back in? The next order of business is the consideration of nominees for the 8 current vacant Senate seats. We have a number of candidates for these positions. We will begin the introductions with Chibuzo. The nominees are reminded that they are limited to a 1-minute introduction. I very much apologize for the mispronunciations that are about to occur.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Chibuzo Valentine Wadike, and I'm currently studying artificial intelligence. It's my first year, a master's student, and I'm contesting for a position in the Senate House. Hi, are you guys there?
Yeah, okay, if that's all you have, sorry. We'll move on to the next person on the list. Could we hear from Daniel? Daniel, are you here? Daniel O, I'm not going to say that. Daniel O.
I do not believe he is here.
Okay, we'll move on to Elio, Elio A.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Okay, sounds good. My name is Elio Armasrojo. I am a first-year student for the College of Architecture, and I am currently running for an open seat with the SGA Senate. I am involved in certain clubs such as PRISM, the Illinois Tech Robotics team, and AIAS, which is one of the architectural groups that are on campus. So yeah, that's basically who I am.
All right, thank you so much for that. Next, we'll move on to Gherkin. I'm so sorry again.
You're good. Hey everyone, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks. Hello, my name is Gurkiran Kaur. You can call me Kiran. I am an international student in my second year of master's degree from ITM major. A little bit about me, I'm a graduate student. I'm a graduate student ambassador here at IIT, and I'm a part of SW organization as well here. And apart from that, things I love to do in my free time is volunteering works. I love taking part in NGOs and bringing change. So yeah, looking forward to know you all. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Next, we're going to move on to Jay.
Hi, mic test.
Yeah, we can hear you. Just from moving on, we'll assume we can hear you unless I say something.
Cool. So hi, my name is Jay Kim. I'm a first year Master's in Finance student. I am a part of Steward Investments, and I currently work in venture capital. And I'm here to represent Steward School of Business. And thank you for having me, and thank you for hosting the event, guys.
Thank you so much. Next, we're going to move on to Oluwatosin.
Hi, everyone. My full name is Oluwatosin, but everyone except my mom calls me that. Everyone calls me Tosin. I'm a returning graduate student at IIT. My last graduate degree at IIT was in 2009. I bring with me deep leadership and industry experience. I have served in the past in a similar capacity in a student leadership capacity. And I'm currently a senior leader in a technology firm in the Chicagoland area. Thank you, everyone.
All right, next we'll move on to Oluwabake.
Hello, everyone. My name is Omalabake Aladio Jebi. I'm a first-year master's student at Stewart School of Business. I'm running for a seat in the Senate because I love taking on leadership roles and I love organizing events. I hope to meet you all very soon. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you so much. Next we'll move on to Nova.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Nova. I'm a first-year undergrad doing astrophysics and physics dual degree program. I have some experience in both a volunteer leadership program and 1.5 years of SGA, exactly like this experience where I got to legislate 15 pieces of legislation. I'm involved in some clubs on campus like SPS, and I'm looking to also help start some clubs. And I'm glad to recognize some of the senators that are here today, and I hope to get to serve the school. Thank you.
Cool, thank you so much. Next, we're going to move on to Purvaj.
Hey, hello guys. My name is Purvaj Desai. I am a first year graduate student. I'm an international student from India, and I work with Graduate Academic Affairs over here as a student assistant. And I do have an experience from my undergrad degree back in India. I was a class representative for 2 consecutive years, and I do have organizational skills. Like I do have organized some of the events and also the career fairs and stuff. So yeah, I would like to connect with you guys and serve to students with the help of Student Government Association. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Next, we're going to move on to Sanchit.
Hi guys, my name is Sanchit Popli. I am an international student and I also come from India. I'm an aerospace major and I have previous experience in my high school. I'm in my high school student government. I've been willingly serving my school as a representative and wants to serve like Illinois Tech as a representative in a Senate. And I look forward to meeting you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we're going to move on to Sojung, our Christian.
Hi, nice to meet you. You can just call me Kristen. I moved here because I had a dual degree program in Korea. So within 4 years, I can get 2 bachelors. And my major is architectural engineering. So yeah, that's all. And I applied for this leadership because like I like to explore new fields, and I'm very passionate about working with other people, and I think I can experience a lot of maturity while doing work with other people. So I'm looking forward to see you all guys, and I would love to serve for IIT. Thank you.
Great. Next, we'll move on to Wyatt.
Hello, I'm Wyatt. I'm a first-year computer science major. I am pretty much, I go to like half the org things. I've been told by multiple people that they see me everywhere. So I figured I would be pretty useful in representing a lot of people. And that's why I want to be a part of SGA. Thank you.
Awesome. And then last but not least, we're going to go back to Daniel.
Hello guys, my name is Daniel. I just recently transferred from Truman College to IIT studying information technology. I previously have experience in SGA as I was a member from my previous school, and getting admitted into IIT, just trying to look for something to engage on by helping students and helping those in need. And with my previous experience, I'm hoping to fulfill whatever requirements or whatever expectation that's expected for me to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Due to the number of candidates, we're going to automatically extend to a 10-minute questioning period. We'll see how that goes. Do we have any questions? Raise your hands using the raise hand feature. Raise your hand on camera. Indicate to me in chat. I'm going to get to go to bed early. This is great. Do we have a motion to move to discussion? Oh, Derek, you have a question.
Yes, and I really just want like a quick one-sentence answer from somebody, from everybody, if we can. If you could change one thing at Illinois Tech or Kent or wherever you're from, what would you change about the university in one sentence?
We'll go in the order on the slides, everyone. So if we could start back again with Chibuzo.
Okay, hi. Please, can you come with the question again? I didn't get it.
Sure. In one sentence, what would be one thing you would change at Illinois Tech?
Okay, fine. Actually, one of the major agenda I'm actually bringing to the table is to help Illinois Tech students to build a student-to-student relationship by bringing up events that will make every student to be involved, and like make every student to be involved, and with it, student-to-student relationship will be enhanced. And Illinois Tech is made of most of international students. Like 80% of students in IIT are international students, and with events, we'll be able to build student-to-student relationship, and this will actually make help to enhance things in the school. Yeah.
Okay, just a reminder, everyone, there's 10 of you or 12 of you. Please keep it to one sentence like Derek requested. And the next person on the slide would be Daniel.
Hello guys, and thanks for asking the question. So in my own perspective, one thing I feel could be changed in IIT, I believe, is just what I'm gonna do is to like improve the communication skills and kind of like bring people together and make them know what is happening in school. And as an example though, I had difficulties, meeting like the international students or where to ask questions. So just like improving communication and making sure posters are everywhere for in case someone is lost will be helpful. Thank you.
One thing I would definitely change about Illinois Tech is probably the organization's outreach, especially, advertisement. There's certain clubs that are limited in advertisement. So that's something that I would definitely change: advertisement and outreach.
Okay, so like being a woman in STEM organization, like I have seen that comparatively there are less women in the STEM courses. So I would definitely want IIT to like reach out to many more women candidates and encourage them to join the STEM courses. That would be the one change I would like to bring. Thank you.
Hey, so for me, I do want to see more student initiative or like student-led projects slash startups. And I'd be happy to help as someone who is in the venture space.
I would like to improve graduate student involvement in student leadership. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. I like to bring towards business activities to the main campus because our faculty is kind of far from the main campus. So we do most of our activities on downtown. So I would like to bring some of the activities here. That's all.
The one thing I would like to change is to make IIT more affordable and accessible. For example, last meeting in Open Floor, I was here talking about meal plan accessibility, and that would be one of the first things I'd like to push more if I am elected into this office.
Okay, so working with IIT, as I am working with graduate academic affairs, I see many students not getting their queries solved because of the communication between the departments. So yeah, I would really like administrations and we as a student, if I'm elected, we as a student government organization to just look into it and have some clarity between the organization or between the departments so that students don't need to go from one department to other department. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
Hi, Chicago has been like known for the criminal rates, and students are still afraid. The new students still afraid to go out and on campus and maybe outside the campus also. So I would like to make the community and the campus like more safer. Thank you.
Safer.
I have two specific things that I would like to change. First, I would like to change the inconvenience of the online system of connecting to international students. And since I'm an international student and it was kind of hard for me to reach out to the person who is in charge of the things that I had to ask. And the second thing that I would like to change is the menus in Commons because it's kind of hard for international students to eat. So I would like to change the menus. Thank you.
I would like to make IIT more accessible to gender minorities and simplify the process for disability accommodations.
All right, do we have any more questions? Feel free to raise your hand, use the raise hand feature, raise your hand on camera. If not, do we have a motion to move to discussion? All right, thank you so much. Do we have a second? Derek and Naeem, thank you so much. Ben, could you begin removing all of the prospective senators into the waiting room?
If you could raise your hand if you were still in the meeting and should not still be in the meeting, it would be much appreciated, but I think, oh, that's all 12 of them. So they are
Okay.
all in.
Thank you so much, Ben. We will now begin the standard 5-minute discussion period. Standard terms and conditions apply. Raise your hand using any method of raising your hand. Derek?
So I guess we could kind of get the conversation started just a little bit here. We were working on kind of an out of 5 answer for an out of 5 ranking for people based off of their answer to the last question, just to try to see like what are their understanding of projects and their feasibility and all that other stuff. Not whether or not we agree with the project, just whether or not we thought it was most feasible and reasonable for SGA to pursue. There were a lot of really good answers, some that stood out. Kristen's answer was very good. Mola Bake, I think is how you say his name, was pretty good. Pervaj's answer was really good. A few others were pretty high up there. There were a few that were a little bit lower that we had ranked personally. Chibuzo's answer was a little bit weaker, we thought. Oluwatosin's answer was kind of weak.
Derek, I'm going to stop you there. Apparently, people are coming back in from the waiting room. Ben, could you remove them and maybe make it not a choice for them to come back or not?
Oh. Oh yeah, we have open letters too.
Could you repeat your the rankings, the most important ones that you mentioned?
Sure.
Or the higher rank?
Some of the higher ranking ones we had pointed out were Kristen's answer, Pervaj, and Omolabake. We all thought had pretty good answers. Some of the weaker answers that we had thought to some of the questions, Chibuzo had a little bit lower ranking. Oluwatosin, and again, I'm really just trying to pronounce names as best I could, had a little bit weaker answer. We thought Daniel's answer was a little bit weaker. And then Sanchit was as well. That was, again, just our perspective based off of experience, knowing what projects are most feasible for SGA to pursue. Those are what we thought were a little bit weaker answers.
All right, thank you so much, Ben.
So specifically to advocate for Tosin, part of the reason I think his answer was so succinct is he had already approached me with several things he wanted to work on, most of which were within the sphere of having been a previous IIT grad student, how do we better engage with our grad student populations? So I think his answer may have been shorter in response to the conversations he and I had had privately before the meeting. So that's some context there. None of the other senators really had reached out to me with specifics, but Tosin specifically had already reached out to me about projects.
All right.
I also have a point if no one else is waiting.
Yeah, of course, Joel.
I personally am quite impressed by the amount of initiative that Nova has shown in their overall idea of trying to make IIT cheaper. I don't know if it is a very feasible project, but they have shown a huge amount of initiative to get that project done by figuring out what our first Senate meeting is and attending it, and then asking us to do something about it during our first meeting. That's just my personal opinion, but I think that he's showing quite a bit of initiative, or they, I guess. I don't really know.
All right, back to Ben.
In further context, thank you, Joel, for reminding me. Nova had reached out to Samir very early on about how do we amend the student handbook. So Nova is very enthusiastic. Again, the feasibility of the idea is questionable at times, but the enthusiasm is definitely there.
All right, thank you so much, Naeem.
Hi, everyone. I just want to make at least a couple of points here. And this is mainly from something we can all see. And I think it is worth being a part of our discussion. The applications that were initially submitted, I think we can tell there's a very big contrast in terms of effort here between some of the applicants. So I do just want to bring that to anyone's attention in case something stuck out to them. I thought that should be included in this discussion period at least.
All right, thank you so much. And I believe that concludes our 5-minute discussion period. Do we have a motion to extend? If not, I'll consider a motion to we discussed. There we go. We're going to call the previous question, either of those. Please clarify what you're motioning on.
I moved the previous. I moved the previous question.
Perfect. Do we have a second? Okay, we have multiple seconds. Ben, could you please bring the nominees back in from the waiting room?
Point of inquiry, I guess, for lack of a better word. Can we leave the voting form open for a little bit longer for this one because it's a bit more complicated?
We have been leaving all voting forms open until the from the point of release until right before open floor. That goes for any votes during the meeting.
Thank you so much, Joel.
Would you like me to release the
please release,
voting?
Yeah, perfect. All right, our next order of business is Ben. We can skip, okay. So our next order of business will be an open letter on crosswalks. Ben, would you like to introduce, or it's on gender neutral residence floors. Ben, could you please describe the letter?
Sure. So for this letter addresses the addition of gendered bathroom signs to the gender neutral floors within the residence halls. Many residents on these floors requested gender neutral housing specifically to avoid the situation of having to use a gendered bathroom while within their residential setting. Adding genders to these bathrooms kind of defeats the purpose of requesting gender neutral housing. So this open letter asks the university to please remove those signs ASAP, especially as they were installed without really consulting with the people who live on the floor. And in addition, given the relatively low profile the university gives to its gender neutral housing options, this really does not signal a strong commitment to actually making those options real options for housing. And we would like ResLife to, try to do better if they're going to make this an option. And we would greatly appreciate the Senate joining the executive board in signing on to this letter.
Thank you, Ben. We will now begin the standard 5-minute questioning period. I trust that you all know how to raise your hand. I'm not going to say it again. Isaiah?
Yeah, I just wanted to state my like utmost support of this. I was in Kasich last year, and then to just hear that suddenly the bathroom, because I lived on the second floor, which was gender neutral bathroom signs, and all of a sudden it was just change was really weird to me. So I'm very glad that this open letter exists and is getting voted on. That's all I had to say.
Thank you. Just a reminder that questioning periods are meant for questions. If we don't have any, do we have a motion to move on to discussion?
I do have one quick question. I apologize.
Yeah, of course.
So what efforts have been previously made to reach out to the Office of Residence Life before we sign on to this letter? Like, has SGA tried to connect with them? Have they issued a formal like statement or response regarding any of this? Just want to get a better understanding of everything.
In terms of, so right now we've had some difficulty even finding out who is the best person to reach out to in housing to address this issue. I believe PRISM has reached out to Dean Stetz to try to address it. I have also suggested they reach out to T. I mean, this would in some sense be SGA taking a formal stance on this and asking for it to change. It was a change that was really done without talking to the students in those residence halls. So it does not seem to be an issue that Residence Life seemed like it wished to negotiate about. This really was an imposed change. And that was done with maybe 48 hours warning, I believe. Essentially, temporary signs went up on Wednesday, and I believe the new signs went up on Friday.
Right, thank you so much, Derek and Ben. Do we have any more questions or a motion to move on to discussion? Questions or a motion to move on to discussion? Just a reminder, we are looking for questions in the form of raising your hand or a motion to move on to discussion. Thank you, Isaiah. Do we have a second? Thank you, Samir. All right. We will now begin the 5-minute standard discussion period. Raise your hands, yada, yada. Nova.
Thank you. I would just like to, like another senator, announce my full support for this letter. Obviously this affects everyone, the gendering of bathrooms, but there are a lot of people, specifically in Kasich, a lot more than some people might think, that fall under the ambiguous middle ground, non-binary or trans folk, that this really like immediately hurts. And I just hope to see SGA sign on to this bill. Thank you.
All right, great. Do we have any more discussion, comments, concerns? Derek.
In all honesty, I'm thinking I'm probably going to abstain on this vote. I definitely support the intent behind the letter and what it's attempting to accomplish, but I do have some slight concerns about the immediacy of passing a formal document through the Senate, as well as the lack of really effort to try to get in contact with the Office of Residence Life or Dean Stetz or T or really anybody. Again, I definitely support the intent behind this, but I think before we take the rapid action of the Senate publicizing a big open letter condemning this decision, maybe it's better we have an initial conversation, and maybe it could have just been a genuine mistake. That's
okay, next. Thank you so much, Derek. Next, I see Ben.
So to clarify where we've been with the discussions about gender neutral housing, on the Wednesday before this action was taken, we had the monthly meeting with the Dean of Students office, in which Samir did raise previous concerns about gender neutral housing with Dean Stutz directly. And the answer was essentially, it's available if students ask for it. We do have some form of it. It's there, stop worrying about it. And then this action was taken the Friday after that discussion. So it really seems like the administration does not quite understand what it means to have gender neutral accommodations. And it feels like they don't really take it seriously, nor do they have a strong commitment to it. If you just search the website for gender neutral housing, it is a hard link to find. So I think at this point, the administration has demonstrated how seriously they take the issue, and it is time for some degree of escalation. And I mean, that's my opinion, that's my take on it. Have we approached them about this issue specifically? No, but we asked them about the accommodations days before they made this decision. Well, before they implemented this decision. So likely this decision had already been made when we asked them about the accommodations.
All right, thank you so much, Ben. Next, I just want to draw attention to Sandy's comment. She dropped it in the chat. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to draw attention to it. Next, I see Nova's hand up. Ben, could you also please remove your hand or lower your hand? Sorry.
Yeah, so I would, again, like to strongly encourage all the senators to vote yay. Having the Senate behind this letter would be extremely helpful and help propel that this is an important issue to those who are trying to get this done. And given that a senator in the chat explained that they are having a meeting with OCL next week, I think it's clear that they have already reached out, and this would just help them let the OCL know that, hey, this is something that is pretty serious and that we should that we stand behind it and we should get something done, as opposed to not signing it and not having that extra oomph to that meeting. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Derek.
To revisit the previous point regarding conversations that we've had with the university pertaining to this issue, the only conversation that we've had has been with the Dean of Students, Dean Stutz. Her office no longer oversees the Office of Residence Life. This honestly wouldn't have pertained to her or her office at all, and probably there was a significant disconnect between the information she had versus what the Office of Residence Life and the rest of the student services team had. So I would again encourage a vote of abstain on this particular resolution, or maybe even I might even consider making a motion to table this, because I think it might be a little bit too hasty to start calling the university disrespectful when they're probably, and I don't think there's any malintent here, that's probably a matter of miscommunication.
All right, thank you for that, Derek. Just a reminder to lower your hand. Devin?
Can you all hear me?
Can you hear me? Oh, you are like a robot. Maybe adjust your mic and we'll come back to you.
All right.
Wyatt? Wyatt, are you there?
Yeah, sorry. I would just like to note that this, I think it's not like too hasty to be addressing this with a letter, because like gender neutral bathrooms, like the removal of those can be very like it's a very strong action. Even if it was unintentional to remove that, it can be very harmful to people on campus, and like immediately. And I don't think that's something to be messed around with.
All right, thank you so much, Wyatt. Elio, I'm so sorry, I forgot the name again.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah, I totally agree with everybody's opinions. When I heard about the removal of the gender neutral bathrooms, just because I have friends who are either questioning or know that they cannot associate with one gender or the other, I feel like it's a certain threat to that removal of rights within gender neutral halls, such as KSIC, floors, So I believe that maybe the action of directly going to the Office of Residence Life might be a bit too harsh, and calling the university disrespectful might be a bit too harsh on that part. But personally, I do believe that there needs to be something done about it, just because, there's people that cannot associate with both genders. There are people that exist on this campus that just simply cannot associate with both genders. So they need to have a space that's neutral. They need to have a space that can simply identify with them as they are.
All right, next, I just want to move on to what was dropped in the chat. Again, drawing attention to it from Jay. Not going to read the whole thing, but people should read it. Sandy, could you go next?
Yeah, I was gonna say, whether or not it was a misintention, I think the most important thing is more so on solidarity. So whether or not this was a mistake, I think it's important to recognize as a university, they understand that there's students either with disabilities or part of the LGBTQ plus community, obviously people of color on campus, and it's something that the institution has known about. And so the fact that they're saying it's a mistake or that maybe, whatever, that's protecting the university, not protecting the students. And clearly if students are speaking up about it, then it is an issue. And I think it's not right for us to say whether or not it's important. I think it's up to us as senators and representatives of all students on campus that we vouch for them, that we support them, whether this is an issue to us personally or not. Our point is to advocate for them and get the resources and support that they need. And I definitely think this is important because showing that we support them on this issue, what if there's later on issues down the road, it makes it seem like, SGA doesn't care about this community, and we do. So I think signing it just shows that we are in support of them.
All right, thank you so much, Sandy. And then Devin, do you have your mic fixed, I think?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's much better.
Okay, great, thank you. So I want to start out kind of replying to earlier. So I'm speaking here both as an SGA senator and also a representative of the PRISM exec board. So problems with gender neutral housing are not anything new on campus by any means, any stretch of the imagination. We have been in constant contact between Dean Stetz when she was still in charge of this program and Teen Wen and Office of Residence Life in general, and basically everyone in charge of this for years, trying to get gender neutral housing in a place where we are comfortable recommending it to students, and it has never been there. When KSIC was initially built, we were promised several floors of entirely gender neutral housing that was not delivered upon. So we had a similar problem then. I think I don't want to say accusation, but I think the belief that this is something new, that we can just resolve this through friendly means, is not been proven, because it's been proven time and time again that the administration does not take gender neutral housing seriously. The administration does not, as much as they may believe it to be a priority, it is not something that is taken into account when making decisions like these. So PRISM has already contacted Dean Stetz and other administrators in charge of this and have been essentially ignored or put off until a later date. So I think formalizing this into a position where SGA says, no, this is something that you need to take care of, this needs to be important, you need to actually take care of this as a priority, not something that gets thought about after other things, is absolutely necessary.
All right, Naeem, next.
Everyone, just really quickly, I just kind of wanted to give my take on things here, and kind of hearing from both sides, understanding really multiple arguments here. When it comes to the whether or not to send out this open, well, when it comes to the issue at hand here, I think really no one's in doubt that the university needs to do better, has not done better, and can definitely do better. And I do want to point out, as someone who was an RA last year, and I still do work with other orgs and whatnot regarding residence life, definitely seen a lot of oopsies come from the RL. Many, many oopsies, especially during quarantine. It was horrible last year. Many things happened, right? We all know, if you were here last year. That still does not make it acceptable for them. And I think definitely as SGA, we are we are really, representatives for students on campus. And that should be our role foremost and first. So I'm definitely not against taking a stand on this issue as a government association. However, I really do hope we are able to contact someone at ORL and really emphasize that this is something that needs to be acted upon quickly, and there need to be no more, and specifically, I just want to make this point, this mistake, whatever it is, can't happen again in the future. We need the university to do better in the future. That's all.
All right, thank you so much. I believe we are well past our 5-minute questioning period. So I would entertain a motion to extend, a motion to table, or a motion to move on to discussion. Oh wait, I think we did discussion. Yeah, so a move to call. Any of those three.
I move the previous question.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you so much. The previous question has been called. Joel, please release the voting form. Our next order of business, while we're buffering, thank you. Our next order of business is an open letter about crosswalks. Ben, would you like to introduce the letter?
Sorry, bouncing between two computers is fun. So for those who are not aware, a student was struck by a vehicle crossing State Street on Thursday, around 32nd Street, so about the MTCC crossing towards Herman Hall. Rachel had reached out to SGA about potentially doing something because apparently the previous crosswalks that were installed across the State Street were an SGA initiative about a decade ago. So she thought it would be a potential project SGA could take on as a way of helping to improve campus. Of note to me specifically, as someone who drives around, is that along State Street between 31st and 35th Street, there are absolutely no speed signs. However, along the same stretch, along Indiana Avenue and Michigan Avenue, between 33rd and 31st Street, there are multiple speed limit signs. So it seems a very large oversight that the main thoroughfare through campus has less warnings about speed limits than any of the adjoining streets. So this letter calls on President Ekambadi and Provost Kilpatrick to do something to address the issue of students trying to cross State Street to get to classes. The first thing we recommend, because this has been an issue before, is that it may need city involvement to get these passed, is contacting Alderman Dowell and seeing what the city can do. Calls for installation of additional safety signs, installation of additional crossings, potentially issuing a traffic study to make sure this isn't just an issue of perception and that there is a real traffic issue here, in addition to adding additional cues to crossings, such as audio cues like that at 33rd and State. A student was hospitalized on Thursday. That's not good. We need something done if there's a major risk of someone on campus being struck by traffic. So Actions that exec has taken on this, we're in talks with PSAC to try to get the issue raised through PSAC. We have also looked at the cost of what it would actually take to install some solar-powered flashing speed limit signs. So there are steps we can take, but this is a fairly big issue that admin came to us with. So the open letter seems a good first step. We're definitely willing to take more joint action with admin to try to address the issue, but we need the university to indicate that it plans on taking this seriously before we throw significant resources behind it. And we would appreciate Senate signing on with the executive team.
Thank you, Ben. We will now begin the standard 5-minute questioning period. All right, we have a motion to move to discussion. Thank you so much, Naeem. Do we have a second? Thank you, Derek. We will now move into the standard 5-minute discussion period. Derek.
Honestly, I think it's great that SGA is taking this issue up again. 2 years ago, when I was the VP of Student Life, this was one project that I pushed for pretty hard, but unfortunately never was able to get anywhere. I know at the time the university had some concerns about like zoning issues and how slow the city might be to respond and act, and how it might like take 2 years to address. And they ultimately pushed the issue aside, and I think they pushed the issue aside because nothing major had happened. So hopefully we can turn a tragedy into a good thing and raise the issues to the school as well as to the city, that this area really needs to have a crosswalk and to have some safety measures put in place to ensure the safety of our students. So yeah, I think this open letter is well past due.
All right, thank you, Derek. Could we move on to Nova?
Yeah, so I know most of the senators here have been here for 2 or multiple years. So I just want to say, as an outsider looking in, as a first-year student, that the crossings in particular that are in discussion today are, like, as an outsider, some of the more scarier crossings to do. I mean, all the other ones, as mentioned in the letter, are very clearly marked, and vehicles like know to caution around that and normally stop even or slow down even when there's no students. But these ones I've always been and feel the most dodgy to people, and it shows through the recent incident. So I hope all the senators will vote yay on this.
Perfect. Could we hear from Kristen?
First of all, it is so heartbreaking that such an accident has occurred, and I think that a new solution should be introduced quickly. So, taking Korea as an example, there's a road called Safety Road around the school where students are gathered. So, if people enter the road, you'll be subjected to a speed limit. And actually, like normally a speed limit of 30 kilometers is like basically, which is subjected. And in fact, it is said that by putting these restrictions on, the incidence of accidents near schools has been cut by more than half. So when I first came to IIT, I was very shocked that there were no proper signage or speed limit at the crosswalk. So since these kind of accidents are recently like keep popping up, I think we need a quick change, and we could like put these kind of solutions to IIT so in order to solve these kind of problems. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your perspective. Can we hear from Elio?
Yes. So like Kristen said, right now, this is a very unfortunate event, and I can tell you right now that I've had my fair share of things like this back at home in Los Angeles and here in Chicago. Coming from Los Angeles, there's a lot of crazy drivers here and over there in California, and In high school, I had my fair share of near misses, and I did get hit once. Luckily, no horrible injuries, which is great. It was, nothing but a kind of sort of tap where I just stumbled over. But, seeing that this unfortunately happens in a city where there shouldn't be this problem, especially since we're in a university campus, this problem shouldn't exist. And, when I was at my high school and there were multiple occasions where people were hit, the school made it an effort essentially to make sure that students were safe, even if they were off campus. This needs to be something that needs to change, and it needs to be pushed not just by SGA, but by the university itself, because I've already had my fair share of near misses in my first month of being here at Illinois Tech as a first year student. And it's amazing that even though so many students, and I know so many students have complained about it, the Illinois Tech administration has simply done nothing about it by far. So this unfortunate incident, I think, needs to call for some change once again, and not just pushed by SGA, but by the administration from Illinois Tech.
All right, thank you so much. Could we hear from Naeem?
Sure thing. So I definitely want to emphasize that that we definitely need this open letter, and it is extremely sad to hear someone hospitalized just trying to cross the street to commute on their campus. One important thing I want to leave you all with, definitely, and other students watching, and it's going to sound like very basic and simple, but I couldn't mean it in any more important way, is please look both ways before crossing the street. And this isn't me putting blame on the students. It is very much, the driver's fault for not obeying those signs and not stopping when they see people getting ready to cross. That is the law. It says it right there on the sign. But out of my worry that something may not happen immediately, as others have said on this call here, it's still important for your safety that you make sure cars are coming to a complete stop before you approach any of the crossing points on our campus, because unfortunately I've seen drivers just go straight through without acknowledging anyone is there. So please, for your own safety, be very careful, but this should definitely be an easy yes. This should not be a problem on our campus.
All right, thank you so much. And then again, just directing everyone to the chat message that Sandy sent. Please look over it at your own time. And then if we could hear from Daniel.
Hello. Yeah, so this is very traumatizing and very unfortunate for this incident to happen in school. And to be honest speaking, I was this close by getting hit by a car. If not, if I didn't run fast, I could have gotten hit by a car. And I just thought to myself that, why didn't the driver slow down? Am I invincible? So, and in that instance, and this happening to a student, I 100% support the letter and kind of probably educate the student to look left and right. And I think installing speed bumps on each and every angles around the campus is actually going to help cars who might not be seeing the road while driving slow down and hopefully see someone is about to cross, and yeah, it's pretty much all what I have to say.
Yeah, thank you so much. I believe that's the end of our people who have comments. Do we have?
Sorry.
Omo, I'm so sorry.
Labake.
Yeah, of course. I'm so sorry. Feel free to go.
No problem. Concerning the signs for the speed limit, I think it's a very good idea, because for my undergrads, once you enter the campus, there are speed limits at every point. So that's reduced the rate of accidents in the school. I mean, once you're in the campus, you need to slow down because students are crossing. And also, students also need to be educated on the importance of stopping when you see the red sign, because I see most students not waiting. I mean, when they just look and they see, oh, there's no car inside, they just cross. So we also need to educate students as well on the issue of to avoid accidents. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Derek is asking the chair to solicit opposition to, or not solicit opposition, but to solicit opposing opinions to the letter. Specifically, is anyone planning a no vote or advocating a no vote for us to hear your perspective? If not, I would entertain a motion to call the question.
I move the previous question.
Perfect. Do we have a second?
I second.
Oh, Daniel, so sorry, you're not a senator.
Oh, my bad. I take it back.
Thank you, Naeem. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. All right, the previous question has been called. Joel, last but not least, please release a voting form. It's now time for executive reports. Senators, if you have not yet voted, please vote now. We will close the voting at the start of open the floor, which will be quite soon. Ben, if you could also start transitioning us over to the slide again. Perfect, thank you so much. Joel, what updates do you have?
Sorry about that. I started speaking without unmuting myself. I'm typically unmuted. So for the first time in a pretty long time, I'm going to actually have an update for you guys with a project that I would like to request help with. It's not very often that I feel that we as executive members really request formally for help with a project except outside of committees, but A, I don't have a committee, and B, I feel like it is something which spans across different committees. Ben, if you could go back a few slides, it's currently on VP of Student Life. Anyways, so the project that I am wanting assistance with is the SGA archive project. So to summarize is recently I've been going through a bunch of very old records for SGA. That's what this entire thing has been dedicated to, as well as a few other things back there. But I've been looking through old archives to really understand the story of SGA, the amount of influence that we've had on this university, and also how we worked in the past. And what I've found so far is honestly pretty shocking to me. I think that overall we have honestly shrunk in significance, if I'm being honest about that. For a very good example, in 2006, one of our main projects was revitalizing the entire bog. And we, for that project, SGA in a single year raised $800,000 through a formal event with the alumni of IIT, through fundraisers, through just donations from the Board of Trustees. And the bog that we have now, a lot of that equipment was donated at that, or was given at that particular time. So for example, the bowling alley lanes that we have down there are thanks to this initiative. In addition, in 2011, there were two other major events, the first one being the 24/5 policy, which we shifted to at the Galvin Library. And I know a lot of students have used that to study for tests the night before. And in some cases with commuter students have actually stayed in Galvin the entire night because they have an early test and they want to make sure that they're there for that test. In addition, the fact that we have hawk.iit.edu emails is also an SGA initiative in the exact same year as the 24/5 Galvin policy. And so to me, it shows that SGA, when we have an initiative, when we have something that we truly care about, we can do something about it. And what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to go through all of this history and understand the types of things that we can do and how it was accomplished within SGA. So the three things that I really want to do with this project is I want to get a copy of everything. And when I mean everything, I mean all of the physical archives that I have here, and also the various scattered documents on forgotten Google Drives or on random websites that have been stored on the Internet Archive. I also want to get an idea of what those documents were, what they mean, and what they intended to do in context. And finally, using that information, I want to create a timeline of what SGA has done throughout the years, from as early back as we can to now. But that's a lot of work. I currently have about 1,000 pages that I would need to read through in order to create that project. And so I need volunteers to achieve that idea and make sure that that's something that we understand. And so that we can continue to understand this history for as long as possible. So there's a QR code on my slide where you can scan that, and it should lead you directly to a Google form where you can say, I would like to volunteer for this project. It'll ask you your name, about how many hours you are willing to commit each week, and also what you would like to do. The three main positions being someone who's reading through things, and trying to understand what's going on and giving like a short summary of it. Someone who's actually finding documents for us, be that in the tech news archives, the Internet Archives, physical documents that I have currently, amongst any other places. And the final one, which I've written under summarize because sometimes my brain doesn't process things effectively, is to organize and sort this information and create the systems behind actually storing this information. So yeah, that's my archives project. That's what I'd like to do. Does anyone have any questions of me? Because I know that was a lot of information that I just kind of spat out. Another point of information is I will be working with the current archivist of SGA, Isaiah Mays. He's going to be helping me manage this project as well. Just want to acknowledge that I am getting help from Isaiah as well. Of course.
Thank you so much, Joel. Could we move on to the Finance Board Chair? Chloe, do you have anything to report?
Yeah, just we have our hearing on the 26th at 10 a.m. on Zoom, and budgets are due a week prior on the 19th. OCL just sent out an update, but the dates were correct, but the due dates were wrong. So if you saw that, just make sure you know that the budgets are due a week prior. Other than that, all of our most up-to-date info and everything is on the SGA website under the Finance Board tab. I am constantly updating that, so keep an eye on that if you do have any questions. If it's not on there, you can email me.
Thank you so much, Chloe. Could we move on to Chief Justice? Oh, that's me. Hi, everyone. Oh, okay, we're skipping me. VP of Student Life.
Hi, everyone. Samir here. I'm sorry, I'm just pulling up my. Okay, so as mentioned earlier today in the meeting, I had a campus life meeting with Dean Stetz where I addressed a lot of issues that students talked to me about. One of them was the prison housing issue. With the bathroom signs, there was also the issue of, not the issue, but like I talked to her about getting a department feedback form, which I'm going to explain later. And yeah, I'm also happy to share the agenda for that meeting and the meeting minutes with anyone. I'll probably do that after this meeting, actually. in the Slack. But anyway, I'm hoping to have more students and staff attend this meeting. So if you're interested in attending one of the public, when we start having them publicly accessible, do let me know and I'll add you to the Google Calendar invite, and I'll also invite you to speak if you want. And I'm also going to be setting up an additional meeting with T Nguyen because he's more of a general OCL career services person. So even broader issues beyond OCL, but sorry, even broader issues beyond Dean Stetz's scope, but still within student life, such as housing and facilities, etc. I'm also going to be talking with T about that. So let me know if you're interested in that as well. One of the current projects that I'm working on, or rather my senators are working on, excuse me, IIT department feedback form. A lot of students have complaints about how there's a lot of red tape and there's a lot of slow response times when they're trying to communicate with departments and offices. This is like something they've reported across multiple offices, including but not limited to Student Health and Wellness Center, Academic Affairs, Financial Aid, etc. So senators, so a few of my senators, and I'm blanking on who exactly they are, so I apologize for that. But senators on my committee are working on that, and we're hoping to have that ready by next week. Thank you. Any questions?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. If we could move on to the next exec report, academic affairs. I believe that's Sandy. I might be wrong. Is the Vice President for Academic Affairs in the call? If not, we'll move on.
If Sandy's not able to talk right now, I am on her slide, so I can explain what that's about. For those who might not know, I am currently representing the school at the Illinois Board of Higher Education Student Advisory Council. Sandy, we cannot hear you, but as soon as you come back on, I'll stop talking. Yeah, so I am the secretary actually for the group. So that is super exciting. We plan on having about monthly meetings. Those have already been scheduled. And I hope to update you all on what we talk about. We haven't really talked about much yet, but that should soon be changing. So stay tuned.
Thank you so much, Naeem. If we can move on to the president, do we have any president reports?
I believe Sandy just joined the call again. So Sandy, are you able to speak? Otherwise, I can quick explain the other two at her slide. Sandy?
I believe we can hear your keyboard typing, Sandy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. I don't know why my audio was not working. Anyway, so Naeem already talked about the Board of Higher Education. And so we do have some new projects. The Undergrad Research Committee is looking for an SGA liaison. A short description is basically we want to fill in the gap between the student body and research opportunities. If anybody is interested, feel free to message me on Slack or my email or even on the chat button. And basically, there's going to be meetings twice a semester where the faculty and 2 student liaisons are going to present. The SGA liaison will be supposed to attend those meetings and give their inputs on any concerns related to research opportunities, and then bring it back to SGA so that we can share it with SGA and also any other student body members that are present, and they can obviously tell their friends about it. We also have a library student advisory committee. And if you guys are interested in that, either somebody from my academic affairs or in general, reach out to me. It's basically an hour a month, and it's the second Monday of each month. So if you want to get more involved, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Oh my gosh, Sandy, thank you so much for that. That's so helpful. If we can move on, if we don't have any questions, Vice President or President reports.
Just a quick note on the vice president. There was supposed to be a note that nominations are open. So if you would be willing / able to serve as the executive vice president, there is a link on Slack for that nomination. And then on my slide, there were animations. Okay. Homecoming and the inauguration are this weekend. So the inauguration is on Friday. Homecoming activities have already begun. I believe there was a soccer game tonight, and there's more games coming over the weekend. And there's lots of activities. Rachel will go into much more detail about those. Also, the archives are very, very cool. Joel and I have found a number of interesting SGA factoids the last week through the Wayback Machine, including the fact that JBoard didn't start till 2006, and we weren't SGA until 2003. Also, general assemblies are returning. The first one will ideally be October 7th from 12:45 to 1:45 p.m. over the lunch hour. We are hoping to invite a number of orgs to present, a number of administrators to receive student feedback. BSU and PRISM have agreed to participate kindly, and Dean Stetz and Provost Kilpatrick and hopefully a couple more will be there to take student questions. So this should be a way for orgs to directly address wider student audiences and for the administration to directly interact with students. That's the goal, at least. We'll see how well this one goes.
All right, thank you so much, Ben. Before we move on to Rachel, I just want to leapfrog back to Chief Justice. Nabiha will be speaking in my stead. Nabiha?
Hi, my name is Nabiha Seda, and I'm the Executive Administrative Justice of Judicial Board. We just held our first case a while back, maybe last week. And right now we have 5 candidates for Judicial Board, and we're gonna hold interviews in the next few days. And we were wondering what kind of questions or qualifications that you guys want to ask while we interview the Judicial Board. Oh, my bad, 6 candidates. And for all of you know, we have 2 open spots. So I'm wondering, like, what kind of questions do you guys want to ask, or what kind of qualifications do you want to apprehend for these interviews? If there's no like questions or anything, you could always DM me or Nick on Slack as well.
All right, thank you so much, Nabiha. Next, we'll move on to campus admin, Rachel. Sorry to keep you waiting so long.
No worries, just sleeping over here. Just kidding. Okay, guys, so excited about homecoming and so excited for you to be excited about homecoming. So September 17th, which is Friday, like Ben said, there is the inauguration, and there is a new ceremony actually called the Passing of the Torch ceremony that will be happening that Friday. Students have been nominated. There's actually an SGA student who was nominated to pass the torch for their class. So freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, grad student, a staff member, and a faculty member will each be passing a torch and then lighting a fire in a contained fire pit on Gonzalez Field. And then after with the fire, we will roast marshmallows. So that will happen that evening starting at 6:30. It will be at sundown. So we'll kind of get all the feels there. And get to feel how cool our campus is. And then of course, inauguration is earlier in the day at 2 o'clock. If you are having professors who are asking you to go to class, please contact me. Classes are canceled after 1. I know that you know that. I know that they know that, but if they need a reminder, you can contact me. September 18th is the carnival. That is from 3 to 6:45. We have got all sorts of things coming. We have got food trucks coming. So make sure that you do not park in lot A3. Just an FYI. So there will be 3 different food trucks coming that day. We will have big bouncy blow up house thing, caricature artists, make your own teddy bears. That was something I know students wanted, and a bunch of other fun things. The Talon show is that evening starting at 6:45. We have 8 acts. Get excited for them. We have everything from students playing the violin to singing to dancing, improv, and some maybe surprising acts that you will see too that you'll really like. And then September 19th is the pumpkin launch. That starts at 12:30. Pumpkin bouncy house, pumpkin food. Really exciting. We are being sponsored by both Xfinity this year. So there will be a bunch of stuff to give away. We will have, those pizza socks everybody liked last semester. We have koozies from them. And then the Chicago Recycling Coalition is also coming and sponsoring the event. And the very cool thing is we will actually be taking all of the pumpkin guts, if you will, and composting them. And UFarm and ESW will be helping with that composting. So we will be restarting the big compost that we've got outside of the Commons on campus again. So very exciting. We also have one thing that's not here for homecoming. Tomorrow at the Bog at about 7 o'clock. You may have seen him online before, but Evan Struck, that speed painter, will be coming to speed paint a painting of Talon. So that should be a really fun event to go to. And of course, you guys know Bog is open for food and drink. There is a virtual industry fair that is happening September 21st for career services from 10 a.m. to 4. So make sure you register for that in Handshake if you're looking for career opportunities, internships, and such jobs for next year. And then we have Career Week starting September 22nd to September 24th. Ooh, excuse me. And again, you're going to register on Handshake for that one. Awesome. That is all I've got. Any questions that you have? All right.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I'm so sorry we kept you up so late.
No worries. I'm just teasing you. It gave me time to answer emails, so it's very good.
It's very important, all the emails. So senators, this is your 1-minute warning. Please, Joel, in 1 minute, close the voting forms and begin to tabulate the results. Next, we're going to move on to open floor. Do any senators have anything to report? Perfect, I can go to bed on time. Do we have any members of the student body who have any concerns to raise? Okay, I'm going to wait for the minute that I gave senators to finish passing. After that minute warning has ended, Joel, could you please let us know the voting results? I feel bad because I think it's very difficult to tabulate results, and so he's stalling, so I will stall for him. How's everyone doing? Any midterms yet?
I have one tomorrow.
I had my first one today.
Oh my gosh, that's so early.
I have a quiz by 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you, Rachel.
Let me know when to when I should close the voting forms, Nick.
Yeah, I would say about a minute has passed from that warning, so you can close it and start letting us know results.
Okay. So, yep. So from the top, the Finance Board returning advisors, they were approved, all of them were approved as a slate unanimously with 12 yeses, 0 noes, and 0 abstains. The Vandercook Senator nomination of Brian Pavlak was approved unanimously with 12 yeses, 0 noes, and 0 abstains. The open letter about the gender neutral bathrooms was yet again approved with 9 yeses, 0 nos, and 2 abstains. And then the open letter about road crossing safety was approved with 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 2 abstains. The nomination voting is going to take a little bit longer to properly tabulate. Give me a second, please.
We love ranked choice voting because it gives us better results, but it's also very confusing. I love Sandy's emojis. They're giving me life.
And do make sure to not include the first row, Joel, just because that's the test vote.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just gonna delete that. We are looking for an overall average, correct?
And the results are coming
total,
in.
Total the votes, and whoever the 8 highest recipients, so essentially all votes are equal.
Gotcha. Okay. Sorry about this. Just takes me a bit of time to actually get everything properly down.
Oh, it's fine. It's giving me fun flashbacks to elections in 2020, you know, staying up, waiting for states to count their votes. Nevada taking like a week to count, even though they're like gamblers and they should be really good with counting.
Okay. So it looks like we should have how many open seats again? There we are. Perfect, thank you. So for successful nominations, we have Wyatt Stevens, Elio Amaris Rojo, if I'm saying that correctly, and if I'm not, please let me know. We have Nova Ammerman. We have Perjav Desai. We have Gurkiran. I'm not even going to try to say your middle name. I apologize. We also have Kristen, Jay, and then Amolo Bake, I believe. So let me.
Amalabake.
Amalabake. Thank you.
Thank you.
So.
Is that everyone, Joel?
Yes, those are all of the successful Senate nominations.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations to our new senators. It is now my pleasure to swear in our new senators. Would our new senators please repeat after me?
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Do all of the new senators know who they are? Just making sure. Just wanting to make sure. I am guessing so. So go ahead. Sorry. You can go ahead, Nick.
All right, thank you so much. So again, it's my pleasure to swear in our successful senators. Would our now new senators please repeat after me? I, Senator, your family name.
I,
I,
Senator
Senator Elijah Jebi.
Purvaj Desai.
I, Senator Jacob.
Senator
Hi, Senator Stevens.
Senator Ammerman.
I, Senator Armas Rojo.
All right. Do hereby affirm that I shall
Do we hereby
hereby
affirm that I
affirm that I
shall
Do hereby affirm that I shall
justly support and defend
justly
definitely
support and defend
defend
Constitution and bylaws
The
Constitution and bylaws
of the Student Government Association
of the
of the
Student
Student
Government
Government
Association
Association
of the Illinois Institute of Technology.
of the
of the
Illinois
Illinois
Institute of Technology.
Technology.
I vow to fulfill my obligations to my constituents
I vow to fulfill
I
my obligations to my constituents
and my duties as a senator
and my
my
duties as a
duties
senator
as senators
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
my abilities.
Thank you, senators, and welcome to SGA.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you.
All right, next we're going to move on to, last but not least, a surprise, quote, tasty announcement from Ben.
So next week, on what would normally be a Senate off week, we are going to have an SGA retreat because we were supposed to do that before people took office, and we didn't do that. And now we have a full Senate.
Oh, Ben, are you still there? I think your internet dropped or something. I can't hear you.
My internet connection is unstable, so if I drop off, I'm sorry. The RSVP form will be dropping in Slack shortly. It's going to be hybrid in format, so if you don't want to be in person, you don't need to be in person. But for those of you who show up in person, we're going to throw ice cream at you. Not literally in the form of tasty treats. That will hopefully be a Sunday bar. Kat, please tell me you did not just close everything. It's open to Senate, Finance Board, and Judicial Board. It is a mandatory meeting for senators. We will be taking attendance because this is how we tell you to do your job, or where we tell you how to do your job. And for new senators, we'll introduce you to all of the different committees you can serve on, and we'll probably be looking at what committees folks are serving on. So that's next Wednesday. We do have a room reservation. The RSVP form will help us pick what ice cream we're going to have. So fill out the RSVP form as soon as you can.
All right, thank you so much, Ben. Are there any questions, comments, concerns? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn.
Oh, congratulations, Nova, your first motion. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
All right, we have many seconds. Will the ayes please unmute themselves and say aye?
Aye.
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 And the nays. Thank you for your hard work tonight and your patience. We'll see you in a week at the retreat. We are adjourned. Ben, end the live stream.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Congratulations to all the senators that just became senators.